Hello, family. Welcome back to Concrete Pastures. I'm Nancy Mulemwasisi. For anybody who is new here, this is a platform where we highlight immigrants and how we highlight immigrants that have relocated to different countries in search of greener pastures. We share our stories of various experiences and lessons we have learned along the way and offer new perspectives on the journey of an immigrant. So whether you are currently an immigrant, as soon or later to be an immigrant, or just curious, come along with us on this journey and let's get a better understanding of what it really means to be an immigrant. Subscribe, like, and share. I am so excited today. Our guest is amazing. When I tell you amazing, we met at the US Africa Business Week, and we hit it off right away. She is a dancer, she is a model, actress, she is even a cook, okay? Her food was featured in Woodspoon. She's also a painter. Okay, that's a little bit about her, and many more things to come about her. Let's meet her. Her name is Gugulethu Makhari. Makhari. She's from SA, guys, representing. She's our second SA guest. She is a chair commission on women's rights, human rights, and youth council for global sustainable development goals, Inc. NGO, USA national organizer and coordinator for March for Our Planet. Gugu is also a contestant currently on Miss Immigrant USA, representing, of course, South Africa and the whole of Africa. Welcome, Gugu. How are you, my dear?
Hi, Nancy. I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for such a lovely introduction. and I'm saying greetings to all our viewers at home, everywhere they're listening, all over the world. Yes. Hello there. In my culture, we say Sani Bonani.
Yes, Sani Bonani for sure. Gugu, could you just share with us, like, what does your name mean? Because I know you guys have really beautiful names in South Africa, and yours is Gugulethu.
Yes.
And the spelling is not, guys, don't see the
spelling. I actually get that question a lot. Like a lot of people often ask me what Gugulethu means. Gugu means treasure, and then Letu means ours. So it's two words, like two names basically in one. So my name means our treasure. Yeah. But Gugu can also mean precious, or it can mean pride. So it's something that you're proud of, something that is precious to you, something that is a treasure to you, so that's what I am to my family.
You are definitely our treasure. So I'm so honored to have you on here.
Thank you.
For starters, could you share with us, you're originally from SA, you are in New York, and how was it growing up in South Africa? And which part of South Africa did you grow up in?
Okay, I was born in Soweto. Yeah, like a lot of people know about Soweto, that's where Nelson Mandela stayed. He had his house now, which is a museum. And actually my home is like literally 5 minutes walk from his home. Yeah, so yes, I grew up in Springs. So when my parents got divorced when I was like, just after I was born, it was probably 3 months, they got divorced. And my mom moved back home, where she came in Guatemala, which is like east end of Johannesburg, the east of Johannesburg. So that's where she moved, and yeah, I grew up there. So I was in between Soweto and Guatemala, where I grew up. It was the 6 of us at home. Yeah, the siblings. Yeah, so I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. I also have another brother from my dad's side. We're just not that close. Yeah, but yeah, so I have that much siblings. And growing up at home, it was a very difficult time. Let me just put it that way, because I got introduced to child labor when I was very, very young. We had businesses at home. My mom had a corner store, and we sold food. We saw, I don't know if you know about a shebeen, like you've heard about shebeens. So she sold liquor in the house. So we had a lot of men. We lived in a 4-roomed house, a very small space. But we had a lot of men who'd be sitting on crates all around,
Almost like a bar. The house turned into a bar?
Yeah, it was a bar, basically. Like, Yeah. So I grew up in that situation, like as a young girl, having to be around this man, and I'm so vulnerable. And imagine I'm like 12 years, I have my sister at the back, and there's another one crying here, my other siblings crying while I'm cooking for like to feed all of us, eight, like a family of 8. And on top of that, I still have clothes that I'm washing with my hands that are waiting for me outside while I'm cooking. Not only that, I'm supposed to be doing something else while I'm doing all these things, you know. So I grew up in that situation. I had to be a leader since I was a very, very young child. And I was selling food as well. I started from primary school. I used to sell candy. I used to bake cakes when I came back from school every day, and I would make some lolly, like, you know, ice lollies. I
Yes.
used to make those as well and sell them for 5 cents at that time, I think, or 10 cents. I can't remember. Yeah, so I used to, that was me. Like, I started business when I was very young. So it was influenced by my mom. Let me just put it that way. I came from a family of very strong women. My grandmother was a very strong woman who inspired me a lot. She took me to church all the time. She was Catholic. So I grew up at a church as well. I used to go to church with my grandmother. If not, I was going with my aunt to another, like a different other church. And then if it was not that, my mom also took us to different churches. Another interesting thing about me is that I went to so many schools. Uh,
I saw. I saw. I couldn't
yeah,
include it in your bio. That was a lot.
I'm not even talking about like my achievements later. I'm talking about just me like starting school from primary school. I went to like 2 or 3 different ones. High school, I changed high school 3 times.
Wow. So was
Yeah,
it
you
because you were
know.
moving a lot?
We're not even moving a lot. It was just the financial instability at home.
I see.
Yeah, so I would be at the school, and then my mom can't afford it the next year, and I have to be moved or something else. Like it was just so bad. Like it was just so crazy. Like I remember myself being so depressed many times. Like during that time, like moving schools a lot, you know, because I could never be stable. You know, I was never stable, so it was hard to keep and maintain friendships. It was hard to cope, you know, like because I had so many responsibilities at home, and by the time I got to school, I was tired. I barely had time to focus on schoolwork and homework, but I still pushed through even as an adult to say, you know what, I can still do this. I can still graduate. I can. So I was always determined as a child, but I was a happy child too. Like, you know, I had so many problems that my friends had like a clue about. They didn't know I was getting so abused at home. I was getting whipped every single day. And, you know, the whip, you know, we
Yeah.
call it a sambok. That's what
Yeah.
my mom used to beat us up, you know. Like my mom was very, very depressed. I learned that later. Like, so she took that out, the anger out on us. She would use crates. Like my mom has beaten me up with crates and iron,
God, I'm so sorry.
yeah, pots, shoes, especially heels. I've got beaten up by everything. Even my brother doesn't have an eye today because my mom beat him up so bad. Like she took out his eye. So, you know, yeah, it's those things, and no one could help, you know, like we weren't saying much. People were seeing what they were seeing, but they were not doing anything about it. You know what I mean? So I grew up in that situation. And but then I'm very protective of my siblings. I love my family. I went through a lot of situations with my family. I lost both my parents now. When I moved here, just before I moved here, I was running a business sourcing company. It was called Mary Web, where I used to source products manufactured in different countries, and like it was going well up until just before my mom died. Then things started going really terrible.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was also losing my car. I was also losing my place where I lived.
Yeah.
And I had to make decisions to go back to go stay with my dad. And I remember telling my mom that, you know, things are really, really bad. I'm considering coming home. And my mom was like, you know what, you can come back home, but you're not coming back to my house. And I'm glad my mom did that, because if I did go back to her house, I was going to be so comfortable. And with
Yeah.
all the problems that went on after she died, I would have probably just settled there to feel like, like when you are the big girl, like you are the eldest, you always want to be there and take care of things. I would have been stuck in that situation if my mom didn't say that to me. So she told me that before she died. She was like, no, I want your life to go on. So if you come here, you're going to be comfortable. You're going to feel compelled to stay in here.
Yeah.
You're going to, so it's better you just go try your life like any other way, but don't come to my house. So I knew I was not going to be comfortable at my dad's house. So I asked my dad, can I come move in with you like temporarily? And I was able to move there temporarily. Just after I moved there, probably like not even 3 months after I moved there, my mom died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And after she died, it like I went through a lot more problems because I just moved to my dad's house. My mom just died. Or in fact, before, like she died before I could even just move there. I had just told her I'm moving there. And she was not happy about that decision. I remember her saying, I don't want you to be comfortable there. Just go there for now because you have no choice. But I don't want you to even be comfortable there. I want you to really, really make sure that you move on with your life and you do well. And at that time, I decided, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. So I started preparing to move and stuff like that. And she dies, right? So after she dies, I moved to my dad's house. But now I have my stepmom and of course I have my dad, and we always got along. There was always harmony. But then that's where I started seeing, like, knowing my dad for who he is, because I was not so close to my dad. I was close to my dad, but not that close because I had never lived with him. You understand? I was just visitors, school holidays, so I got to like understand my dad now. I got to know him.
Yeah, I think with anybody in life, whether parent or not, I think you get to know someone when you actually live with them.
That's true. Yeah, that's very true. So I went through a situation with my dad as well, where my dad and I had never in our lives exchanged words, but suddenly we went through fights, and I have my own stress, mind you. Like, I just lost my mom, and they're not understanding what's going on. I'm the one that's taking care of like things at home, and things are turning upside down. All my brothers went on heavy drugs. I'm not talking about just small drugs. They went on really heavy drugs to a point where they were like they stole from everything from home, family, with that to a point where we didn't even have a spoon at home. Yeah, I could no longer even focus on my business because every single day I'll be in the office getting calls from my sisters or someone. Oh, listen, the police are here. Or like I remember my sister one time calling me, doing a video call on WhatsApp and showing me my brother, like two of my brothers stealing in the fridge. They picking it up, one of my fridges. And the other one is busy beating her up on the background, like, because she's calling me and she's reporting the situation. I'm telling you, to a point where even when you call the police will not show up anymore because they were so sick and
tired. Yeah.
Yes, they were so tired of the situation at home. You understand? So it was very stressful. So I couldn't help. It was such a hopeless situation where I am drowning in depression. I almost like took my life at that time too. Thank God I had my best friend in Thailand, Mike. He spoke me like out of the situation because I took pills, a lot of pills, and I was surprised. I woke up. Yeah, I was shocked. I woke up. So I said, why am I here? I don't want to be here. And I remember calling Mike and crying, like telling him, no, Mike, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, this is what happened. Mike, I was like, you know what? You have a son, and I know you love your child. You cannot do that. And I had to think, oh my God, yes, that's true. I love my son. I cannot do that, So that really changed things for me. And that's when I said to myself, you know what? I need to find something bigger than me that I can do. I've always volunteered. I've always done that. But I started giving myself like my time, like devoting my time to kids that were HIV positive and orphaned. And I didn't know I was going to be an orphan soon too, So I went there and I spoke to the director there at that time. I just walked in there. I had never been to that charity. I would always see it when I was passing, and then I said, no, let me just go there. I always see a lot of kids go there, and I said, let me go there and find out what they do. And I went there and I found out they have a lot of kids. They have these after school programs that they do. They have like programs that they come up with, So I said, you know what, I have some programs that I would love to come up with too, like maybe like life skills, teach kids like how to cope with life, because I see we learn a lot of things at school, but we don't really learn about how to navigate and cope with life. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it will be nice for me to come to speak to them and give them some coping mechanism that worked for me, like being that I've came from a disadvantaged background, then being that I've faced many trials, tribulations, I can help in so many ways. And I started devoting my time. I'm telling you, these kids, I turned their lives. So many of them, like they use these kids, like they will not even miss one session with me, because they knew they gained so much from it. And I would even give so much, donated a lot of my clothes. I had a lot of stuff. I donated like a lot of things for them. Like our programs went on the whole year. They were growing, the kids. And I started getting donations as well. I started this program called Blessed to be a Blessing, which happened on my birthdays. I started that program while I was in that center. It's called Ikageng. So the program was basically about friends buying gifts for me, like for the kids, instead of buying for me on my birthdays.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so I also started asking for donations from different companies and bookstores, like for them to donate educational toys and books for the kids. And yeah, we did that. And I had the mentoring program as well there for young girls, that are teenagers and young adults. And I was mentoring them, like we're talking about so many things about life, dating, we're talking about education, we're talking about hygiene, we're talking about, a whole lot of things. Pertaining life. And they were open about situations. I used to get calls like midnight from some of them. Oh, my uncle raped me. Oh, my uncle is doing this. Oh, it was so sad because I didn't even know who to turn to, for help. Like I would speak to people, oh, please help here, but people can help so much. So I was trying my best as well to, help them. It was also it was not emotionally draining because it took a lot of my attention from focusing on my problems.
Yes.
Yeah, I started focusing on them, and I didn't know I was healing by doing that. Yeah, I found myself healing. I found myself starting to be so positive. I saw myself waking up every single day with a purpose. When you have a purpose in life, then you have so much to look forward for. You have so much hope. So for me, doing that gave me so much purpose, and it healed me. And one day I woke up and I said to myself, you know what? I need to fight for my life. I've got generational cases to fight. Yeah. So I was thinking about so much that needs to happen for me to get where I envisioned my future to be. And I thought I need to make drastic changes. And I remember praying to God and asking God, you know what? I know you've called me for global dominion. And global dominion doesn't mean I'm going to be stuck here in South Africa. Show me the way. Please, help me find inspiration and find a way for me to break out of this situation. Yeah. And I'm telling you, God brought, from nowhere, I had an aunt. How she's an aunt to me. She dated my uncle, my uncle, who's my mom's brother. For over 20 years, they've been dating. I knew her since I was a kid. So she lived here in New York, and I thought, you know what, Aunt Spongile, let me just contact her. And I contacted her, and I told her, listen, I want to come visit in New York. I'm going through a lot of stress. And she said, yeah, sure, come. And at that time, I had buddy pass tickets, the buddy pass, the people that work for airlines. So I was registered under those tickets. So it costed me $50, $60 a round trip for me to come to the US in South Africa. Yes, exactly.
I need those friends.
You need that grace, my sister. I'm telling you.
I do.
So I was traveling everywhere. I'm telling you, I would just decide I'm going to China. If I get $1,000, I'm like, I'm going to China and Malaysia and I will do it. I'm telling you.
Wow.
So I had traveled, yes, extensively. Like, you have to remember, I was running a sourcing company. So I was sourcing products manufactured in different countries.
Yeah.
So I had to travel, for me to establish relationships. I had to travel for me to find products. I had to travel. So for me, that was the best way I could do it. Yeah, being in the situation that I was in, So it worked out for me very well. So I then came to New York, and I didn't tell my aunt that I wanted to move yet. I just wanted to come observe and see if I can
feel it out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I came and I felt it out, and I liked New York, but I was not really crazy about it. Like the country that I always wanted to move to was Switzerland, Yes, I've always wanted to live in Switzerland. I love a peaceful life, and it's so beautiful. Switzerland is so clean and beautiful. So I've always really loved to stay there. But I came to New York, and I stayed like for maybe 3 months with my aunt, and then I went back to South Africa. I came back again, like to visit. She knew I was going through a lot of depression, so she didn't mind. So I decided, okay, you know what? I think I can do this because and I give myself 5 years. I said, if I give myself 5 years and focus, I can reach. I could see myself reaching where I want to reach in 5 years if I was focused. So I said, okay, I'm going to challenge myself and I'm going to do that. To cut the long story short, I told my aunt I wanted to move here eventually, and then she said, "Oh, okay, yeah, try it out." And then, well, I decided, okay, I'm gonna move 2018. I was already visiting here 2017, right? That's it, during that time, 2017. 2018, January, I made a decision, I'm moving here full time. And I moved. I was still not sure even when I moved here if it was gonna be full time. I was still like thinking, for now, I'm gonna move, and I'm not telling anyone I'm moving yet. Yeah, because I don't know if things are gonna work out or not. So let me just be here and tell people I'm visiting. So I was doing that. And that helped me as well because people like sometimes feel a certain way when you tell them about your plans. So sometimes it's better to keep things to yourself and to announce later. So for me, it worked for me because there was no pressure. There was no, people were just thinking, oh, she's just visiting. They didn't know I had settled already.
Yeah.
So, and even before I came and settled, I already found a job. I already started like going to places and looking for a job. I didn't even have no work papers at all and anything. I was just looking for a job. I remember going to this bar, like it was called AAC, African American Club. So it's a veterans bar. Yeah, you meet all the veterans there, all the police that worked, like the people that worked in the army,
Yeah.
police department, department, and So I started working there as a bartender. I remember the guy that hired me there, the owner. I used to go there and be like, what do you want? And I'd be like, I want a job. I said, I will come back until you give me a job. And I did that. I will come back. And I bothered him until he gave me the job. I'm telling you. Until one day he said, okay, can you just have the job? Like, do you have any skills on bartending? And I said, I will learn. At home, we sold alcohol. We did sell alcohol. I wasn't lying. I had experience all my life. So I wasn't lying about me having experience. We really did have experience at home. We sold liquor. We had a corner store. So I knew customer service already,
For
and I
sure.
was one of the best.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure.
And I was one of the best because I'm telling you, like, people loved me in that bar. And I remember I had a very hard, like, core Zulu accent. Oh, people, I barely could hear even the American accent. I'm telling you, I don't know how many times people had to repeat. Like, yeah, someone would tell me, give me this drink, and I will have to ask them 7 times, what is it again? And they didn't mind. They were like, oh, don't worry. Let me say it slow. And they will write it down for me. They will show. And the boss will be so furious. But I learned I learned so fast. Within a month, I knew like everything. But within a month, I knew everything. You understand? So now I was coming to work and I was making a lot of tips. I was making a lot of money. So staying with my aunt during the time, and I'm working. Sometimes I would have to lie about, oh, I work 2 days, or I work, because she wanted everything that I was making there. Like I didn't have much, but she wanted me to contribute to rent.
Yes.
She wanted me to buy food. How do I even do that when I can't, like, I was only earning, it was not even much, so I was so much dependent on my tips, and I was really getting there. So what I would say, I would tell her I'm work 2 days if I work 3 days, so that I can save that money for that day, for me to be able to leave and send money home and still be able to buy myself clothes, so I would do that. So I did exactly that. Within 3 months, things changed. I started hearing, oh, you know what you're contributing is not enough. And, you might have to make a plan, like some threats, but they were coming. Yeah, like,
You've been here for a while now. You know how
yes.
expensive it is, especially in New York.
I know
So,
that,
yeah.
Yeah, but then like also, like, I think that's another thing that I just feel our families need to understand when we move here. Like, as much as they like, I mean, they had the experience as well when they moved here. It's not easy. I was doing my best, and my best
Yeah.
was my best. So you cannot tell me that my best is not good enough. You
Yes.
understand? Because I was doing my best. You understand? And I
Yeah.
don't blame her because she helped me. If it was not her who said, "Oh, we have to make a plan," I'm sure I would have still be staying with her and still be stuck in one position
True.
and
True.
still
You
working at the
needed
bar.
that push.
But
Yeah.
that helped me. Yeah, sometimes some things are a blessing, you know. And I don't mean to even be ungrateful. I mean to tell the story so that people can also understand that sometimes you find yourself in those situations. But then don't take it personal. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes God will use people around you to move you to another level. And
No, no,
exactly,
1,000%. But a
mm,
1,000%, because when
mm,
we come here, it's so hard, it's so tough, and
mm,
you are adjusting to everything. And I just love
mm,
your tenacity of just the level of determination that you have. It's
mm,
it's beyond measure. Because from South Africa itself, you've said a lot already in your story. I didn't even see that coming when we first met, and then you agreeing to come on the podcast, and then us having this conversation right now. I'm sitting back shocked. I was like, oh my God. When someone meets you in person, you don't look like your past. You don't look like your past. You don't look like your problems. You are your energy that you give is amazing. We
thank
hit
you.
it off as soon as we met. We were
Mm.
kicking it like we knew each other for a long time. I hope no one releases those the videos with thinking about it. Oh my God. But you are definitely amazing.
Thank
I just want
you.
to take you back a little bit to where you were in SA, and how has that, growing up in starting off in the humble beginnings like you did, and
Mm.
so tough,
Mhm.
so hard. How has that shaped you?
Well, in so many ways, because look at me, I'm thriving, I'm surviving in America, and I came with just a suitcase. You understand?
Mm,
So if it was not with the situation at home, how I grew up, because of how I grew up, I had to think outside the box. You know, I had to think all the time. Like so it helped me to think on my feet, because now here it's easy for me to solve problems. And like I thought it was going to be hard for me to like cope in this country. It's much easier than in South Africa for me.
yeah.
You understand, to navigate here than it was in South Africa. It's so easy. You know, I spot opportunities everywhere. I see an opportunity here. Everywhere I see an opportunity. Every time, like it's easy for me to actually to even network. I'm very confident when I'm networking. It doesn't matter where you place me in
Oh,
the
I've
UN.
seen it.
Yes, you know, it's because of how I grew up. You
Yeah.
understand? Because we had like businesses at home that forced me to to network with people all the time, to deal with customers, difficult people. You
Mm,
know, like I live in the hood, and you know how people in the hood, they in the township, how difficult they can be sometimes. You
yep.
know, so you deal with that, and you learn how to fight as well, because you have to like stand for yourself. You know, so I had to learn that. So when I came here, I went through a lot of situations. I'm telling you that if it was not for how I grew up, I wouldn't have otherwise conquered. Yes.
No, I think everything works out for our good. No matter when we're going through
Mm,
through the tough times, and sometimes even when you go through the hard times, you go through them for yourself and also other people and the people
that's
that you are
true.
called for. Because
Mm,
if it was not what you went through, you wouldn't be advising those kids that are in the orphanages, and the kids that
mm,
are going through HIV, and
mm,
for you to
mm,
give them advice to see
mm,
tomorrow as there's hope
mm,
tomorrow. So a lot of
mm.
the times when we go through the hard times, it's hard for sure, 1,000%,
True.
but it
But
works out for our good. I have learned that. Oh my
it
God.
does.
But
Yeah.
you are participating in the Miss Immigrant. I see you everywhere. If you're not already following our girl, Gugu,
Yeah.
please follow her on Insta. You will see her where
Bye.
she's everywhere in a good way. Because
Mhm.
she is representing all of us, women, South Africans, Africans, truly representing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you're doing.
I was picked to join. Like I was approached by the organization itself to join Miss Immigrant. I'm not sure with the other girls if it was the same, but I know there are some women that do actually ask, that they are curious to know, they want to join, you know. So with me, I was approached. I had met the organization during my events in the United Nations. So I had seen them a couple of times in different events. And then one day, the funny story is that I had just lost my phone. I think when they sent me the message, I think I had just lost my phone a couple of days before. My phone fell in the East River. You know, I know.
Oh, Gugu.
I know. Yeah, and when it fell, the funny thing is when I moved here, just like other immigrants, usually you don't have any ways of getting your own contract phone, so you have to ask someone to register the number for you. So the person that I had my number registered under decided they were not
Gonna
willing
do
to
it
do
again.
it exactly for me, you know. So I lost the number completely. And everyone literally knew that number. Even for my business, people knew that number. You understand? So I had lost that number with nowhere to get it. Yeah, I tried my best. I couldn't get that number. So I had to get a new number. I didn't have a phone for some time. And I one day I was using someone's phone. I said, listen, I want to I want to log into my Facebook, and I want to check some stuff. So I went on my messenger, because I usually use a lot of Facebook, and a lot of people send me stuff about business, about this, and on social media, you know. So I went to check my messages, and I see a message from Miss Immigrant. I said, oh, and then I can see, Google, please join Miss Immigrant. I said, oh my God, this is good. I want to do this, you know, because I had asked already before what Miss Immigrant was about. And they told me, no, it's more like community outreach. It's more, and I was like, that's me, you know. So when I saw the message, I was like, I need to make a plan to find a way to talk to them. So I spoke to a friend of mine, Shantae. I said, Shantae, I need to talk to them about doing the interview for Miss Immigrant. Can you please help me, like, so I can use your phone? We can set, we can ask them to, like, I can use your phone. I can tell them they can reach me out on your phone, and they can send me a link on your phone, and then I can like do an interview. And she agreed. And I went to her home, and I did my interview on Miss Immigrant. And I got through, and they loved me, and they were like, you know what, please join us. And I joined Miss Immigrant that way, you know.
Yeah, you are everywhere. Everywhere. The mayor is, you there. There's a parade, you are there. There's a party somewhere that involves the council, you are there. And just looking at your social media, I'm like, wow, really great way of, you're working. It's hard work. I believe
Yes,
this is
it
hard work.
is. Yeah, that's what I like about Miss Immigrant, because Miss Immigrant is so me, you know. Everything that I stand for, that you see me doing, stuff that I've been doing behind scenes that people didn't know about me, that I was never posting on social media. But since I joined Miss Immigrant, one of the rules is that you post, you know, like where the platforms that you go to, you need to share on your social media. So that's how I ended up sharing on social media about what I've been doing all my life, basically, you know. So it became a second nature being on Miss Immigrant for me, because I was already moving that way. I was already doing what I'm doing, except now it's more empowering, because it puts me at platforms that allow me to network with people that are at leadership spaces where I want to be. You know, so now I'm more recognized. Let me just put it that way. So yeah, it's a very great platform. It's I love it. Like, I really, really love being on this platform for real. It means everything to me. Yeah. And you were talking about our crowning. Yeah.
And your crowning, I mean, this episode is gonna air after the crowning, but just for someone who like interested, what does that look like when it's the day of the crowning? You going to a place, or are you guys waiting at home?
Yeah. Well, we didn't know much about how the day is going to unfold. We were not given details about that day. We just knew it was supposed to be a gala dinner where they're going to invite all the officials, and we're going to host them, basically. But so during this time, you see me going to events, that's already me being judged. Everything that I've been doing, I've been judged already. So even on Saturday, it's just a formality for them to announce who they picked. But Miss Immigrant is already picked. You understand? So they pick you based on your behavior, based on how you network, based on how you dress, based on how you carry yourself. Not necessarily on how you dress per se, but of course, I mean by I'm not gonna go to events showing my cleavage. I'm not gonna go. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So those kind of things, yeah, like being appropriate, looking appropriate, and acting like having respect, and you know, are you there? Are you happy? Do you love what you're doing as well? I guess it's part and parcel of being judged there, like on Miss Immigrant. But the crowning is going to take place at Times Square this Saturday. It's going to be in the morning, like something different that they've never done before, like having the pageant at 9 in the morning. They've always had gala dinner, so things are different now with all the war that's happening. One of our organizers, the main organizer actually, he's from Israel, you know.
Oh my God.
So yeah, so they affected, of course, about the situation, and so that's why maybe the plans had to go the way they did. We're supposed to have our the crowning next month. So we're just told all of a sudden, this like a couple of days that, no, we're having the crowning this Saturday. We're not even ready. Even me, I had started getting my dress designed in South Africa, which was supposed to arrive in the next 3 weeks. But unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, we have it this Saturday. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And I have no other mind other than taking it. The Bible says, those who have faith take it by force, and that's the attitude I've always had. Even when I moved to this country from South Africa, my attitude that I came with here was to win, you know. So if I don't win, I learn. I'm still winning. Yes.
I think you're still going to win all around, regardless of what happens. And
Thank you.
you've put in the work. You've put in the
I
work.
am putting the
I've
work. That's the
seen you.
truth.
I've
Yeah.
seen you in action, and I mean,
Mm.
there's nothing to say aside from that. Like you put in the work, and
Mm.
I didn't even know it was a lot of you guys, and I didn't even
Mm.
know that you were being evaluated in those spaces where you were going to, which is something.
Yeah, not all of them. Some of them, where you met me, I was volunteering. So some of the places I just find opportunities for myself where I can volunteer. You understand? Give my time. So I do that all the time. So I volunteered there. It had nothing to do with Miss Immigrant. In fact, we were supposed to be guests. That's how I found out about the event, because it was, you know, posted on our calendar. And I registered like we should. Like sometimes we get a link and then we have to register to be part of the guests.
Yeah.
So what I did was, when I went to the link, I said, no, I wanna get more opportunity and have, like, of meeting speakers and you know, knowing the organizers. So maybe I can volunteer. That's the best way I can actually get like to meet them, you know. So I did that. I looked for the volunteer opportunity there, and then I volunteered. Yeah.
So aside from Miss Immigrant and all of the amazing things that you do, what else do you do that you could share with us aside from dancing, acting,
Oh,
modeling? Oh my gosh.
yeah, okay. So I do work with two NGOs. Yeah, one of them is the Global of Sustainable Development Goals, Inc. And how I got the position was through the events that I've been attending, like around the United Nations, and I met
Yeah.
one ambassador there, Ambassador Piu. He's from Nigeria, and he recognized that I'm working so hard, and I didn't even have an underground pass like for the United Nations then, and he said, no, that's not right, you know. Like I had one which was a temporary one, like a 3 months one, and he said, no, I need to like give you like a position in my company, and then you can learn better that way. You can attend these meetings better in the UN. You can do so much more. So I
Yeah.
said, okay, that's fine. And I started realizing that I'm really passionate about working with the youth and developing them. He realized that I'm really into a lot of like development when it comes to women and supporting women. And then he also realized that I fight a lot for human rights. And
Yeah.
then he said, oh, you know what? Like, let me give you this position to be chair commission on women's rights, human rights, and youth council in my company. I said, yeah, sure. So I took that. You know, I don't get paid for it, but it helps me a lot because I'm learning, and I get to attend all these high level meetings in different platforms in the United Nations. You know, and have no idea how many people I've met just me volunteering for that NGO. And another one that I volunteer for is March for Our Planet. So we march for climate change. So we have different collisions in different countries globally. So Daniel is the guy that actually hired me, like in the NGO. He met me at around the United Nations as well. Yeah, and was
I
attending one
know
of the
you live
events
around
there.
you are in the United Nations for sure. Because when I met
Yeah.
you, I was like, "Are you here every day?" You're like, "Yes."
Mm, yeah.
Sometimes I think, sometimes it's not all about getting paid. You get
Mm,
more value in
mm,
what you are doing as a volunteer, the people
mm,
that you are meeting. I
mm,
think it's worth than money,
mm.
because we are
That,
so accustomed to, if I'm gonna do something, it has to give me some money. Even when I
mm,
started this podcast, some people were asking me, it's like, "Oh, so how much are you getting paid?" I'm like, "This is a
mm,
calling."
mm,
And it's sometimes when the money, I'm sure eventually will come later
mm,
for you
mm,
as well, because of the work that you're putting through. God is seeing what you're
mm,
putting in,
mm,
and it'll come eventually. You'll meet
mm,
somebody who's going to actually hire
mm,
you and pay you for the work
mm.
that you put through. It's experience as
It's
well.
true. It's true.
The
Yeah.
experience matters, because what do people ask for?
Mm.
References, for resumes.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
sometimes you can't get that paid reference. You can get the volunteer one as well.
Exactly. And look at this, Nancy. Like when you say that, like it's not always have to be monetary. I've lived here in this apartment for 5 years. I never had to care or worry about the rent,
Wow.
because of the work I've been putting in.
Mm-hmm.
There was someone felt, you know what, you don't have to worry about this. We'll take care of certain things. I don't have to worry about food because I go to food pantries. Some of the places I volunteered at, they give me good food too, from
Yeah.
Trader Joe's, from different places, decent food. And I never had to worry about transportation since I came to this country. I can tell you, I barely use my own money to pay for transportation in this country. Everywhere I go, I do stuff. They give me metro card, like for a round trip.
Yeah.
So for 5 years, I didn't even have to pay for transportation in this country. I
Mm-hmm.
can literally count maybe I don't even think I've spent more than $50 of transportation for the last 5 years in this country. I'm telling you. You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that pays a lot. Imagine how many people spend, like how much money people spend on transportation for 5 years. Calculate how much that could have been. Exactly. And I didn't have to. You see how God now works as well. He will bring you those people sometimes to help you. And not even a single day in my life I slept without food. Not even a single day in my life, when I was really in need of something, I was not able to do it. Even now, they announced we're doing the Miss Immigrant crowning this Saturday. I mean, I was able to get people to just help me with small things. Even my phone was gonna be shut. Like someone who's just said, "No, don't worry, I'll take care of this," because they already know I bring a lot of value. Understand? I'm one of those people that I've made sure, because I'm in a unfortunate situation financially, that I would be resourceful. There's no person that came in my life that I'm not able to help. Like I have a lot of information. Like I make sure that I research, I share information. I
You
always
do.
initiate, like events. I always I'm telling you, like even now I'm developing my own app. It's called Ask Gugu. That app is all about events and a whole lot more. You understand? And it's not stuff that I just decided, oh, everyone is doing events, I want to do events. No, I worked at restaurants here. I've worked at different hospitality industries that
Yeah.
made me realize that this place lacks service. Like in New York lacks a lot of service. You know what I'm saying? Everyone is in a rush.
Yes. It's
Everyone
hard
is in
for
a
me when
rush,
I travel. It's hard for me
Yeah.
because of this level of service that is provided in
Mm,
New York. The sense of
mm,
agency that people have, and
mm,
a lot of places do not offer that. I mean,
mm.
it depends what's important to someone.
Right, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
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 But
So for
it's
me, I can't
your
stand
kind
it.
heart just comes off right
Thank
away.
you.
Like someone meets you in person. I'm sure even now, people can even feel your heart. Uh, it just comes out. It comes out.
Thanks.
Uh,
Thank you.
just to go back a little bit personal, how is the relationship with your son, having gone through what you went through as a child?
Yeah, first of all, let me tell you, when my son was born, I was already married, to his dad, and it was very exciting and scary, like at the same time for me, because I grew up with so many responsibilities and having to take care of my siblings. My mom was not nurturing at all. My mom had so many kids, but she was not nurturing. I don't even remember my mom even attending like for my school meeting, not even once. You understand? So literally we had to be one of those kids that take care of ourselves. But then she was there to like, my mom wanted things to be in order. So she was there to like make sure everything is in order, but we had to do things on our own, like that's how I learned to be very independent, So being here and not being so close to my son. Oh, and another thing I need to mention is that when he was born, I had what they call postnatal depression.
Postpartum?
Yeah, postpartum. Yeah, they call it postpartum and postnatal depression as well. So that's what I had. It's because I didn't want to have kids actually. Due to the fact that I already felt like I had my kids on my own, raising my siblings. Yeah,
I can
so
see that. Yeah.
yeah, so I didn't want to. So my ex-husband is the one that spoke me into like, no, man, we have to have a child. We have to have a child. And I'm glad he did that because I didn't know I could be a loving mother. And it was hard for me to bond with my son when he was born. It took me 2 years, yeah, to actually like actually love my son. Like not that I didn't love him, but to actually bond with him, Yeah, it took me 2 years, that I won't lie. But from that time, once we bonded, we became best friends. And let me tell you something, we were doing a lot of activities together. When I played golf, my son, I got him a membership as well to be my golf partner. When I traveled everywhere, I traveled with my son. We did a lot of things together. We went out, we had our outings to movies, restaurants, like we had a lot of things. I used to also be so involved in his school. I became one of the moms that help at school, like the liaisons and I don't know what they call them, like at the school, but I became one of those moms as well. And I remember how small I used to be, and I would go there, like at his school, like when he was in primary school, and I was helping out and stuff. So I used to be so involved with his life. Up until I moved here, I was still involved, but not so close to him because, of course, we have this distance, But then also, we had this problem with the pandemic, when COVID hit. That's when now we didn't see each other, we stopped seeing each other because I was gonna go home, and then they announced that week about the whole COVID, and they're shutting out borders and this and that. I had a decision to make if I was going to leave and go home, because I was thinking about him and I didn't know what the future was, what it meant, So I said to myself, you know what, let me find out from his dad what he thinks about the idea. So I told his dad, listen, I'm supposed to come home. I think I was going to leave on Friday or something like that. And they announced before, and it was just a couple of days before was going to leave. And then his dad said to me, you know what, stay there, because there's nothing much that's going on this side, and you already started working on a business that side. You're starting to think about your app and this and that. So you might as well stay there and do what you need to do.
Yeah.
You understand? Your son will see you. You'll be fine. Things are going to be better. And I'm glad he helped me with that decision, because I would have left everything here maybe, and probably lost all the inspiration, because the inspiration I got was here. I got that inspiration here in New York. You understand? Yeah. So it helped for me to stay here, but I miss him at the same time. I love him so much, and I wish he knew, because now he's a teenager, and teenagers, how they behave. He really like blames me, but he doesn't tell me. And I'm very open all the time. I tell him, like, if there's anything you want to talk to me about, speak. I call him as much as I can. He answers when he wants to. Now I don't even force him. I used to cry and be depressed that he's not picking up his call. And my ex-husband said to me, think about yourself when you were 12 years. Did you want to speak to your parents like this? Did you want to? And I had to put myself in his shoes and be thinking, I must be the most boring person around him right now. Yeah, but at least the one thing I'm grateful for is that he's healthy, he's happy. He knows I love him. He knows his dad loves him. His dad is there for him. He's a hands-on dad, thank God, So that helps. And I'm able to talk to him when I can. At least now we're in a better space too, because I was one of those moms that would be like, no, you have to do this. You have to do this. Like, I wanted things my way.
Controlling, yes.
Yeah, like sort of controlling. But for me, I would not look at it that way, because I want the best for him. You understand?
No, I mean, I'm not saying it in a bad way, actually. The thing is, because how we
Yeah.
grew up, that's why I asked you this question, because a lot of our parents do not show affection. A lot of our parents
No,
do
they
not show
don't.
affection. It's like the first time I ever told my mom I love her, it felt
Mm,
uncomfortable. Now we say it so much to each other. It's part of us.
mm,
So the
mm,
affection piece is it's still a work in progress, I think, for a lot of
mm,
mothers that are older. The younger generation, for us, it's
mm,
easier. We are raising our kids a little bit different. We're changing
mm,
things around. And I
mm.
also wanted to hear from you, like if you've changed the way you parent based on how you were raised.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times we can either change or adopt what
Mm,
we grew up in. Because our parents, I mean, they were raising us based on what
mm.
they knew from their parents.
Exactly. Right.
And even if
Yeah.
they're going through depression, they don't know what depression is. We are the ones talking about mental health.
Exactly.
Postpartum,
Mm,
who knows about postpartum
mm,
in those days?
mm,
They just say, oh, she
mm,
doesn't like the baby or something. That's it.
mm,
Here we are more open, we are more vocal
mm,
about what we're feeling, and it's helping a lot of people. And I know that your story is going to touch a lot of people. A lot of women can relate. I can relate to a lot of things that you've
mm,
mentioned. And
mm,
it's just, I wanted to hear from your own and the
mm.
connection that you have with your son now, because we can change things around. It's not too late. No matter how
Right.
you are raised or how you grow up, you can change
Mm,
things for yourself to whatever you
mm.
deem better.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, a lot of people like usually ask me about my experience here, right? They always ask me, what have you learned? And then I always tell them, no, let's talk about what I've unlearned. Yeah,
There you go.
because we barely talk about things that we have unlearned, we have to let go of. Like,
Mhm.
so you have to remember, with me growing up in a very chaotic environment, my mom was very emotionally unstable. Oh my God, my mom would be screaming everything she used to scream about, and I remember seeing myself doing the same things that my mom used to do to my son. And I
Mm.
remember even thinking that it's okay for me to like do this, like I remember like I did that to my son. I was picking him up and my ex-husband said, don't ever do that to our son. Like there's other ways that you can correct a
Mm.
child other
Yeah.
than beating them up. And I thought about it and I said, yeah, that's true. Because for me, it felt like what love should be, because that's what I learned from home. You understand? I thought love was screaming and shouting and fighting. And, I thought that was love. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, no, that's not. And I had to and learn those kind of things. And it helped me moving to this country, because I always tell people, I said, like moving here, for me, it allowed me to be myself, like to be my true self. Because being in South Africa, where I grew up, I was not able to really walk in my true self. You understand? There was like, I was scared of being judged. I was scared of being criticized. I grew up being criticized all my life. I was scared of being criticized. I didn't want to
Yeah.
people to know that I'm a fun person. I didn't want people to know that I can dance, that I didn't want people to know. I was shy about my talents. I didn't want people to think, oh, she thinks she's better. Oh, she thinks she can do this. I didn't want people to do that. So I'm
Yeah.
learning to embrace my son for who he is, and help him be a better human. But by doing so, and by example as well, how kind am I? How well do I speak to him? Do I
Mm.
say kind words to my son? Am I
Yeah.
saying things that build him? Even when we have disagreements, do I want my way, or am I letting him also express himself as a human being? Am I letting him voice out his opinions? That's very important too,
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have a freedom of speech, and we have to hear them as their parents.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, like, because I was told when I was young, that you don't pay church when your parents speak. You don't say anything unless you are spoken to. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you don't, like, they beat you up, and then you don't cry. Why are you crying? Imagine that your mom is beating you up and so severely, and then you crying. They beat you up for crying. You
Mm.
understand? So that's part of abuse, like, and that affected us mentally. So I was affected in so many ways mentally. Like, so I was an emotional wreck. I didn't even know how to deal with my emotions. I was so emotionally immature, that I can tell you. Because I used to be mad about everything. I used to be offended about everything. I'm
So
telling
what
you.
has
So those are
helped
things that I
you?
had to unlearn.
What has
I'm
helped
sorry.
you? What has helped you to unlearn some of the things that you went through and just release the anger and let
Yeah.
go of what you went through? What has helped you?
Yeah. A reflection is one of them. Yeah. Self-reflection. So looking at where I want to be and who I want to be, I knew certain things would not serve me or help me get there. So I had to let go of thinking I know too much. I had to let go of thinking things have to go this way for them to work out my way. No, there's no my way, Like when you're dealing with people, it's our way, that there's no my way. You don't do that. Even when you're dealing with just a lover, a partner, your partner, it's your partner. That's why it's called partnership, because you meet each other. And even with your son, with your child, with your children, we meet each other. You need to hear them, they need to hear from you. You understand? We often as parents we want our kids to respect us, but we don't respect them. So for me, when I started
Yes,
doing
you
that
need to repeat
reflection,
that. You need to repeat that one. Yes. Oh,
it's true though.
yes. More
Yeah,
often,
yeah.
our parents want the respect, but the respect is
Mhm.
not given. Mm.
Exactly, and that's not fair, Exactly. They like we talk about a lot about human rights. They have their rights. That's part of human rights. So we also have to respect them. Just because they're young, you can also learn from someone young. We can learn a lot, especially from our kids. They can teach us a lot, and our kids often teach us a lot about ourselves because they point out those things that we are doing and they say it innocently. They are able to point them out, and also they don't have to say much. Like they how we react to them sometimes. You have to pause. Why am I reacting so harsh to my child? And then you realize that I have problems emotionally that I need to deal with. So that's the reflection that I'm talking about that I had to do.
Yeah.
I had to work on myself a lot. I'm telling you, and I had to I involved myself with support groups as well. When I moved here, I joined a lot of support groups. I was the only young one. I still am the youngest, yeah, out of the groups. It's mothers, it's people that experience life. They made their mistakes in life,
Yeah.
and they turned around and they're better women today. They are strong women, and they've helped me as well. They've helped me because it's in a space that is safe when there's no one judging, and you are able to express yourself and say when things are bothering you. We talk about different things. We talk about depression. We talk about being lonely. We talk about addiction. We talk about female problems. We talk about dating. We talk about everything in life in general, everything. You understand? So those are things that help me. Yeah, as well,
Yeah, we definitely need a lot of those type of those spaces because not
Right.
everybody can afford therapy or can have a therapist, but we need those places that have a safe space for us to, share whatever we're going through, and someone can learn
Yeah.
from our mistakes or whatever we are going through as well.
That's true. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, no, you made me understand as to why you are so passionate about human rights, whether it's the youth or the women. Thank you. Such an honor for you to have shared your story with us. A
Thank
little bit
you.
about yourself, really,
Mhm.
because I mean, we cannot get all of you, even though as much as I want to hear more about your story, we cannot get it in one sitting. Definitely, we need to do another sitting to get
Yeah.
more.
When after the crowning, when I came back with my crown,
Yes, when you get the crowning, we need it on the head, showing off. No, I'm definitely
yes.
excited for you and
Mhm.
the rest of the nominees that you guys are into.
Yeah.
But everything that you've gone through, do you feel you found your concrete pastures at this point?
Passions. My
Concrete,
concrete passion.
no, your concrete pastures. Do you feel you found your concrete pastures from everything that you've gone through in life?
Oh yeah. Um, well, you see, everything that I went through has shaped me to become the woman that I am today, the strong woman that I am. I'm able to advocate. I use art now to express human rights, like, to express the pain that I'm feeling against human rights. That's how I use the art, like, I find myself in a lot of platforms where I have to speak. I'm speaking about my story. I'm sharing about what I've experienced. And I love doing what I do so much. So yes, I found my concrete pasture, definitely. God has led me to paths that I didn't think that I would find myself. And I know that people speaking about my names that in big rooms that I have never even entered already.
Yeah.
I know that. Yes, that's for sure. I have no doubt, because people have met me just like you met me. And some of the people that I meet, like last night, I was invited to a gala dinner. And when I was at that gala dinner, one person
That I
invited me,
could
but
not
almost
go.
everyone knew me. Pardon?
That you couldn't invite me to.
I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding. I know it was packed. 250,000,
Yeah.
200 people, 200,000 people. There were a
Yeah,
lot.
it was a lot of people. Yes. And so many people knew me there. I didn't even know. And I was one surprised. How do you know me? That, oh, we've seen you do this here. Oh, we've seen you speak here. Oh, I was with you at this event. And I was like, oh my God. I didn't know people know so much about me already. So people are watching. That's what I want to say. People are watching, what you do. And I'm glad that I only show up as myself everywhere I show up. I'm show up as myself. So I don't even pay attention that people are watching. You see what I mean? Because I have found my concrete pasture. I have found my calling.
Yeah.
I am doing what I'm like. I like that feels natural to me. So
Oh,
that's what I mean by it. There's no me like one day when I'm looking at the program, when I'm looking at my schedule, and I'm like, today again, because I love what I'm doing. In fact, I'm always looking forward. I even create my own invitations, some places where I feel, this can add a lot of value, or I can add value here. If I go speak at this event, this will be good because I can share this and this and that. And God knows I went through a lot. Even like last night, I went, like yesterday too, I went to another event, a community event where they were discussing about gender-based violence. I'm already writing a book based on that. You see, like I was married to a guy here and he broke three of my fingers. See, this one is still bent. Yeah. And I'm writing a book called Living His Best Lie, because indeed he was living his best lie. You understand?
oh wow.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, that's another situation, because, like, you are an immigrant and you find yourself the most vulnerable as an immigrant. Like, most of the times in any country, like, the most vulnerable people are immigrants,
Yep.
Yeah, just like in South Africa, there was a lot of, like, xenophobia that was going on. And I don't like that. And that's one of the other things that made me want to put myself in a position of saying, you know what, I want to go experience what it is like to be an immigrant, because I don't understand what it is that immigrants do that make people so uncomfortable. Because all I see is immigrants. They are just like other people who are trying to also like
Make a
live a good
living.
life, and exactly, and also like they're trying their best to solve problems in their families. Usually they live where they come from because they want to improve their lives. They want to do better. They want to like also advocate. So there's so many people that come from places where all these events that are happening in New York about human rights and this and gender, there's none of that. So they need spaces where they can also come. Safe spaces. I didn't have a safe space in my country, in South Africa, for me to advocate the way I do. So this place has given me that. I've been a repeated what's this? A victim of abuse from home to me choosing the partners that were abusing me. Like all my whole life until recently, when I turned around and I said, no, I'm not allowing abuse to happen again, when this guy broke my fingers, because I said, from here, it's going to be murder. It's going to be like me dying, like, if I don't do anything about it right now. So I decided, you know what, I am not ever in my life dealing with anyone that's going to speak to me in any way. I'm not going to accept anything, and I need to place boundaries, like make sure that I have strong boundaries. And I started developing very strong boundaries. I started fighting even more for a better life. You understand? Yeah. To get myself out of that situation. Imagine when this guy broke my fingers, my dad had just died. It was on the 2nd of December, my dad died. from cancer. And then the 4th of December, it's his birthday. 6th December, my mom's death anniversary. 7th December, this happens. And you know why this happened? Because I found out, the relationship had gotten to that point where it was so abusive and a lot of things were happening that I was now like that woman who was very insecure, and that messed up a lot of my self-esteem.
Yeah.
So I would wait for the guy sometimes, because he used to drink a lot and he would smoke a lot of weed. I would wait for him to pass out. When he's passed out, I would take his phone. I even knew the password. Imagine. That's how bad it is. I never even thought I could be that kind of a woman. I know, I'm telling you. That's how low I had to stoop at some point in my life, you understand? So I was going through his phone and I would find out stuff like, oh, he sent this woman money, this woman money. So on that day, I think it was the 6th, I found out that he sent so much money to different women. And one of the women is a girl that he was dating for years before he married me. And I didn't even know about her. I'm telling you. I found out this after we married, and I found out that he's cheating. And then he says to me, oh, well, it's not a big deal. I've been with her for so long, blah, blah, blah. Take it. Like he would tell me, oh, you need to take it in. So many women cheated on me and I had to all take it all in. So you need to take it all in too. He used to tell me stuff like that. I'm telling you. You understand? Yeah. So I can go on with the stories, but it's a lot.
No, you're definitely going to come back, because there's actually
Yeah.
an episode I want to do on domestic violence in terms of being an immigrant, and also just women overall from back home, how it's so accepted to have your husband or your wife beat you up, and then when you go back to your parents, it's just like, oh no, just go back, it's marriage.
Exactly.
It's marriage life. So I want to definitely do an episode on that. And yes, you definitely have a point on how vulnerable we are as immigrants. And there's so much that goes on in our community that needs to be addressed, and we have to shed some light on that as to what we go through when we get married, and especially for people who have or who are married and they're married to a citizen, and how the abuse comes up with that. So I definitely want to do an episode on that. So once your book is done, I want to make sure that we highlight it. I want to read it. But it's been such an honor having you on here, and thank you for making time for us, because I know you are busy. You are extremely busy. We were supposed to do this, I think, 2 weeks ago, and then we were participating in a parade, and I did see you. I was like, oh my God. But you are a ball. You're such a ball. Yeah.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you for having me in the show. Yeah, sometimes you don't know how messed up your life is until you start talking about it.
Listen, like I told you, it's not messed up. This is our scars make us. They're part of our scars, and we should not be ashamed to talk about it. And I know you are sharing so you can inspire other people.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, no. I'm definitely happy to be in this platform and sharing my story, because I know there's so many people that don't have the privilege to voice out what they go through, or maybe they are not ready yet to share, or even scared to share what they go through. So, and also, immigrants don't realize that they have rights as well. Being an immigrant doesn't mean you don't have rights. I found out later that I can call the police just because I'm an immigrant. It didn't mean I can call the police if I'm in a situation. You know what I mean? So there's so many situations that immigrants find themselves in, and they are scared to take action because they don't know what the outcome would be. So those are things that I'm passionate and I'm teaching other immigrants about, you need to report cases, you need to do this, you need to, find there's so many institutions and programs that are for immigrants that can help immigrants, with resources. So it's important that they know that we do have that there, and we have safe spaces where they can also talk about what they go through. And I'm grateful for your platform as well, because that's exactly what your platform is for. for people to like advocate and share their stories. Yeah, that's beautiful, Nancy. Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. I can't wait to have you back.
I can't wait to be back.